Okay, while Mary and Sarah settle down, just allow me 2 minutes to give you some very basic bio facts about Mary. Mary was born in Athens. She studied architecture at the Rhode Island School of Design before she transferred to Central St. Martin's College here in London. She focused, in London, I believe she focused in fashion prints in the digital era. Her graduating show in 2008 was based in trompe-l'œil prints of oversized jewelry. It was extremely, extremely impressive and created that 3D effect. I would say the rest is fashion history. She has been awarded several awards. She has collaborated with different houses for special capsule collections like Montclair and Longchamp. And she has brought, we can say, a new language into fashion. In spring 2017, she developed a Minoan-inspired collection. 2 pieces of that collection we've seen next door. Again, using her signature digital printing, she took these elements and she placed them on the clothes. She will tell us how she did that. On a personal note, let me just say that I was one of the fortunate people to attend this show in October. It was a pivotal moment, I think, for Greek fashion. It was also a very emotional evening. It was related to charity. It was a combination of talent, perseverance, charity, good emotions, good work. It all came together. It is very rare. I don't think it's ever happened before. The Greek Archaeological Council does not authorize fashion shows in places like, temples. Gucci and Chanel tried to get the Parthenon a few years ago. They failed. Mary somehow did it. She managed, with the help also of Marianne Bardino-Yannis, to get Sunio. It was a magical moment for those of us who were there, but I think the images from that evening are really part of the fashion visual history. So I hope we can talk about the show. We can also talk about the Minoans. I just have one question, because the theme, the subject here today is branding our heritage. So even though a lot of your work was based on digital printing, and that has been your signature for 10 years plus, this is your 11th, I think, when you just celebrated your 10th year as a fashion designer, you did go back to the roots with the Minoan collection and with this collection. So can we just have a little bit of this idea of how you are branding your heritage?
Yes. First of all, thank you for the wonderful introduction, and I apologize for my lateness. It was beyond our control. I'm very privileged to be sitting next to Sarah, because without this amazing woman, we wouldn't even be sitting here. She literally, I was the shyest human being, and I'm going to get to your answer very quickly, but I just have to say this, because I was the most shy human being, and Sarah Mower came, and I was so scared to see Louise Wilson, so I wouldn't even enter her office. She became an incredible mentor to me, because Sarah actually noticed my work and talked to Louise about my work, and then suddenly Louise started taking notice of me and caring about what I do at St. Martin's. And since then, after I graduated, you've been with me from the very beginning, and encouraging me to think that there's something worthwhile that would allow me to start my own brand. So
it was obvious from the beginning.
So to answer your question, yes, I've done 2 collections inspired by Greece, and I'm very proud of both. They're both very personal to me, but this one even more so, because I think when a designer looks back into their roots and you try and think, what about my Hellenic heritage is really me, and how has that actually been part of my work beyond one collection that is inspired by Greece, is actually the idea of narrative in my work, the importance of the word idea as a whole, which is something that I was brought up really finding always the significance in the storytelling side. So the show at the Temple of Poseidon, the first point of inspiration was that we were doing it for the children of Elpida, and that the context and where we show needs to be respectful, but also showcase how a landmark monument of your country can become a vehicle to support a future generation that is in need, and how it can work as a catalyst to send a message of hope from Greece. So when I thought about, okay, we've done a collection on Minoan women and the importance of women in that culture and how it's become a paradigm of a woman's position in that society 4,000 years later, I thought what makes me really Greek, and what makes me really Greek is ideas, is putting the emphasis behind the word idea, and the entire collection was built around ideas that were birthed at the time that the Temple of Poseidon was built. And to me, that felt much more authentic than the collection that I did that was more about the visual, because this wasn't really about the visual of what you think in terms of the silhouettes, or in terms of the prints, or in terms of the techniques. It was Greek in its ideas, in the words of Socrates here, or in the work of Archimedes.
We've been trying to read this.
Yeah. Well, this says, the only true knowledge is in knowing you know nothing. Η μόνη αληθινή σοφία είναι η γνώση ότι δεν ξέρεις τίποτα. And the other one by Aristotle was Παντέ εκλογικού γίνεται, which means everything happens for a reason.
Sarah?
Oh, what's the question?
Did you like the show?
Oh, this was literally the summit of this, not just this season, but I think the pinnacle of Greek communication through art, through philanthropy, and through the filter of this incredible mind. I felt that the incredible thing about the concept of this collection was that Mary didn't do classical drapery. She used it as a point of education to the world, actually. I really do feel that you did that. You showed that medicine comes from Greece. You showed that, philosophy, technology, astronomy. What else, Mary? Maths. Maths, physics, everything. Her dresses were about
biology, alchemy, trigonometry, and then ideas that are more, I guess, transcendental, like stellar, lunar, the olive dress, ideas that are Greek, but it's about the natural beauty of Greece, and then also the ideas that were birthed there. And my team said, but how are we going to make Pythagoras into a dress? And I was like, we can. And it was look number 2, and we took all the triangular pieces and it mapped away the fringe that was shaded in grey, as if you've used graphite and shaded it in with pencil. So it was very abstract. We've never, I think, done a collection as abstract as that, but it was probably the most freeing collection because of it, because you're just working on abstract ideas, so you don't have a visual of how that needs to translate.
And all the people you brought to Greece to see that, and you're such an amazing communicator. We all wrote about the meaning of these dresses, as well as just being blown away by what they looked like and how incredibly made they were. I think the nobility of it, and the visceral excitement of being there as well. This is something I've always wondered about Greece, because in my position as a fashion journalist, I've been to so many places all around, ancient monuments all around the world. Dolce & Gabbana, for instance, commonly used palaces and temples. Karl Lagerfeld could take us absolutely literally anywhere in the world and get permission to show anywhere, but it's incredibly difficult in Greece to get permission to do these things. And I do think, far be it from, I said earlier on that I sent Sophia Kokosalaki to Greece, and she went to Knossos without permission and shot a story for me.
Oh, wow.
On The Secret. But this is actually a barrier in Greece. You don't show off about yourselves enough. It's something that, yes, we all want to go on holiday to Greece, but do we get the access to what Mary did? So Mary, how did you do this?
I think, like I've known...
You tried a long time.
I tried a long time, and we didn't try alone. It all happened because Mariana Varginogiannis gave me a call many months ago, asking me to join forces and participate in the 30-year celebration of her charity, Elpida. And I had never done something in Greece, so I visited the oncological hospital. I remember I'd never met her. I knew who she was, but I'd never met her. And I went to the hospital, and she showed a video of what they've done in the past 30 years. It was 8 o'clock in the morning, and I remember being in tears, being hit emotionally by how dedicated the entire medical and care team have been all these years, and how important her life's work is. And I think initially we were thinking of just doing something in Greece, taking a show from London Fashion Week and repeating it. And at that moment I talked to her and I said, I want to do something incredible, and I want to make sure that people from all over the world come to see this. I don't want it to be just about us and just about our country, so I will skip an entire season and a commercial season. So we completely bypassed a whole commercial season, which is an incredibly risky move financially, because I wanted to have people like Sarah come to Greece and not be a show that she's already seen in London. So all our effort with Elpida, the charity, first I wrote a letter to the Ministry of Culture, talking about that, and then Elpida came back and said, no, Mary, we cannot go directly. We cannot use this letter. We have many steps to go until it reaches that. So we went to the Euphoria Anatoliki, but I don't know how to translate that. But anyway, it's the body that protects the Temple of Poseidon and other landmark monuments in that area of Greece. And she happened to be a supporter of my work. And she said, we're going to really give it a try. It's very important what you're trying to do. And she respected the philanthropical angle of raising money for the charity. And so she gave a positive recommendation to CAS, which is the archaeological committee that you were talking about. And that then went back and forth for many months. So it was about working the application itself to make it be respectful of everything that they asked us. And at some point they had told us that everything is restricted, and I remember telling Marios, he's my fiance, I said, they're saying this and this and that, and he said, Mary, even if they say yes, it can only be you, a chair, and the money goes to it. Vida, you're going to say yes, it's going to be me, one chair, and we will do it. So I said, from now on, we just say yes to everything, and that's exactly what we said. We said, yes, however you want us, whatever you want us to do, we will do it, and of course, we all wanted to do it with a lot of respect.
It was amazing.
Mary, we have been remembering, talking, thinking about Sophia Kokosalaki today.
Yes.
And I think you worked with her.
Yes. I worked with her very briefly. And actually, I think as everyone else, we were all very shocked. I actually had been in touch with her for the show because you said, oh, you know, Sophia, are you inviting Sophia? I was like, of course, I want her to be there. And we all didn't know. But I did an internship with her before I decided to study fashion. I actually did an internship with her in between when I studied textile design. Yes. So I had no idea. And I remember thinking about everything she was saying. And she was so much ahead of anyone in Greece, taking the heritage and filtering it through her creativity and doing all of that, that it made me think, maybe I want to do that. I remember when I was starting, I was reading every single interview Sophia was giving and thinking, you know, what an incredible talent and what incredible words she uses and how bright she is. Because I think it's very important to speak about and connect, you know, the dots of what you do and how you do it. And she absolutely did that. And also made us all, beyond fashion, feel very proud to be Greek, to highlight the importance of this culture and how it can be very relevant now. And I remember she called me once, and it was a Saturday, and I was going to the movies, and she's like, Mary, you were going to send a print, or I was there for 2 weeks, like something, nothing, very little time. And she said, oh, Mary, have you done the print? And I was with my boyfriend going to the movies, and I was like, it's a Saturday. Why would I have done this print? And that I think back to that every single time in terms of the work we do and how committed you have to be. And I think back about, you know, how difficult it is to build an independent brand coming out of a country beyond, the UK, living here, building something and having such a unique vision that you create an entire following and path that people can follow. And Sophia absolutely did that. I was in awe, and a huge reason that I decided to do my master in fashion was looking at her progression, looking at everything she was achieving.